I'm really looking forward to this. I have only once before was I in a service where they had a Christian comedian. And I'm going to say this. Many of you know Pastor Don Prather over here. He and I are buddies. We've known each other for years. We're down at the Plus or Minus 60 in Denny Marsh Hazen's Ministries. He and I are both known for telling some of the worst jokes you've ever heard in your life. I call them groaners. You know, you hit the punchline and the person you're talking to goes, Take notes. We got a comedian coming up here. Take notes. I think we're both going to need the help. Now, he calls his ministry Frouxts of the Spirit Comedy, but he spells Frouxts Frouxts. I like it. I like it. Make welcome Robert Rue.
How's everyone doing so far? Got that alarm clock back there woke me up when he was talking. Give him one more hand. He did a great job, please. That was amazing. And happy anniversary as well. My name is Robert Rue, and the way that I spell Frouxts, it's a little awkward. People say it differently all the time. Frouxts, Frouxts, they can never seem to get it right. I got the name because, like he said, my last name is Roux. It is French for those of you that... Anybody know how to make a roux? Does anybody know what a roux is? We got a... See? Yeah. Got a kangaroo over here. Well, technically, that's not how you make a roux. But I mean, in Australia, that'd be a great start.
Butter and flour.
Butter and flour. So basically, I tell people that my name is based off of fat. Now, that is actually pretty awesome because it gives me a reason why I can continue to eat. Unfortunately, my mom keeps telling me about the spirit of gluttony, and then I have to slow my roll just a little bit. But, I was raised Baptist, so I'm allowed to give God a challenge for the rapture when he goes to take me, so gotta keep it going.
I like that one.
And anyways, I want to thank Pastor Fred Higgins for having me here. We've been starting this business back in 2016. God's been actually blessing the business since we started. But he's been growing the business in 2017 because we were still maturing in the Bible, still maturing in the Lord. My wife, she's a great woman. She does all the administrative work. I can barely turn on a computer without struggling. She does all that stuff, and I thank God for her. Unfortunately, she cannot make it, but she's definitely praying for me. I want to tell a little bit about my life. We grew up in a little town called Washington, Pennsylvania, and I was hearing Pastor Bob talking about the prodigal son, which was a very, very, very good story. I love that story as a kid. My life is a little differently because, as a kid, first of all, I grew up with 4 brothers and 1 sister. God bless her. But we had one little problem, and it involved the dinner table. You ever notice, like, when you try to ask your brother to pass the salt, instead of just being the kind, sweet, big brother, he just slides it backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah.
And then he gives you that little grin, that grin that just says, slap me. I looked over and that's what I saw. I just saw, like, his teeth just spelled the word slap me. And and every time he smiled, it got bigger. So I was like, well, what more was I to do? I just had to kind of, do my stretches a little bit here. And I turned around and just smacked him. Let him have it. I got beat up for it, but... And then, there's old mom. She's always, always cooking the food. She's always doing the hard work. My mom, bless her heart, she's 64 now, and she can still move faster than me. So, she sees me slapping my brother Jimmy. Then, of course, David, he feels left out. He has to join in. So he's turned around, he's smacking my brother Michael. My sister, on the other hand, she's just back there encouraging all of us because she knew, boy, these guys are going to get it. She's just sitting back. My sister was the wise one, that's what they say. Typically, all women are, but, us men like to take the challenge. So, we're sitting there going around and around, and this, things just flying off the table, and you ever hear your mom, she gives you that warning sign, hey! You think the trumpets were sounding or something. You're looking up for Jesus. You're like, where are you at? Yeah, she would just let it out. And she would start crying. She had she had these emotions. I can't believe you did this to your mom. And then you start feeling bad. You're like, and not because you made your mom cry, because Dad's coming home in an hour. You realize that. So there's a difference between punishments, all right? There's the mom and there's the Grim Reaper. So I'm going up there. I'm as what he was saying earlier, a little bit ago, I was repenting. Oh my God. I'm like writing my will, all my Legos go to my little nephew. I was doing whatever I can. I was like, God, if this is it, make it nice and easy and slow, and not as painful. Then I hear the big old van pulling in. I was like, oh no. Then you hear the door open, and my mom, she's downstairs. We're upstairs. Like I said, I'm praying underneath the bed. Remind you, but you try to build your fort. You try to block your whole bed with blankets and pillows because you're just trying to do anything you can to get away from your dad. Then I started hearing this, just getting louder and louder and louder, and then I see, you see the shadow under the door. God, I repented. Well, what do I'll write Psalms 119 in cursive. Please just. By the time I say that, that door just kicks open. As a kid, your dad's talking normal, but as a kid, you're in trouble. Your dad just starts talking like this. Where are you? I'm under the bed. Not saying a word, right? I figured Jimmy and David would have got it, but they had the better idea. They decided just to head out the door. So he knew I was there, and I remember he grabbed me by the ankles. He all slides me out. I'm all trying to hold on to things. It's like, in the movie fest where you're like, you see people hanging off a cliff on the fingertips. You're like, that's impossible. It is possible because I was hanging on the bed with my fingertips. I was not letting go. And let's just say he ended up winning, as he always did. Came by and, I think we all know the rest of the story here. He had this paddle. It was a solid red oak paddle. Now, my dad was not an abusive father. I know a lot of people today, they say, correcting kids is a child abuse. My dad was not the person to abuse us. He used it as a correction, as a tool to make us learn, to make us mature. Exactly. And, it took growing up, it took many of years of maturity for us to finally realize we need to stop doing this. So, he had this red oak paddle, duct tape handle. He had little holes drilled in there. That thing would just whistle. Yeah. And man, by the time you get lit up with that thing, he only gave us one crack. There was no need to give us any more than just one. Oh yeah. And I remember my mom, she felt so bad because he was just correcting us with a plain paddle. So my mom decided to write Bible verses on this paddle. My dad got so mad because my dad he was great at woodwork. He was great at carpentry. So he was really good at building a paddle. But my mom, she decided to write Bible verses on it because my mom had the old saying, if you're going to beat the children, you're going to beat the Word of God in them. It is not very pleasant to have John 3:16 on your derriere. I'm going to tell you that right now. Not pleasant at all. You're walking around, you can't even sit down when you're eating cereal. You have to sit like this. So growing up, we decided, we came up here to a place called Bloomfield, Ohio. That's probably about maybe, give or take, 2.5 hours. There's a little place called Swain City, little church. They had a little campground thing. And this is before, this is when I started hearing pastors such as what I just heard just a second ago, because, you're so used to seeing those quiet pastors, the really, really quiet ones you can barely hear. You have to literally, I think they do that on purpose so you can actually sit up in the front seats. But the pastor we used to have who was quiet, he did this one thing. Have you ever noticed that? When you're ever in a church and you believe that the pastor's actually talking to you, he'll do this. You all need to behave. Yeah. Yeah. Not saying that she doesn't misbehave. I'm just giving you an example. But he would always stare at me. I'm like, what did I do? I'm just this little, 400-pound kid, I got the last name Rue. What am I doing wrong? He would always do that, and his eyes would get big, like dinner plates. Like they literally look like a dinner plate with a little